Number 20, solve a quadratic equation. So you could, there's a couple different ways to do this. You could graph that, solve it for y, and then graph it. So when I say that, I mean, I want this to be equal to 0, so add 8 to both sides. So you'd say y equals x times x minus 6 plus 8. You could stick that in your graphing calculator. Go ahead and plot the graph, and then your solutions would be the x-intercepts. I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. This is an SAT question, so you don't know if it's going to show up on the SAT with calculator or without calculator. So I'll show you how to do this by hand. That way, if it is on the no calculator section, you won't be freaking out because you don't know how to do it. All right, so I want to solve the equation. I see I have an x here that I can distribute by multiplying to both terms inside the parentheses. X times x is x squared. That's why they called it a quadratic. X times negative 6 is a negative 6x equals negative 8. As I was saying, when you graph it and we say the solutions are the x-intercepts, that's because at the x-intercepts, what happens? The y's are always equal to 0. So in order to solve quadratics, we need it to be equal to 0. The y has to be a 0. So right now it says equal to negative 8. Well, that's a simple fix. If I add 8 to both sides, I get x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. And you can use the quadratic formula at this point if you want to say a equals 1, b equals negative 6, c equals 8, negative x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. That takes quite a while. You can actually factor this one, might be a faster method for you. X times x is x squared. For 8, my options are 8 times 1 or 4 times 2. It's a positive number, so negative 8 times negative 1 and negative 4 times negative 2. Those are all my factors of 8. Which one am I going to go with? You want to go with the one that's going to add up to that negative 6. So 8 times 1 is positive 8, but that's not going to add up to a negative 6. That adds up to 9. 4 times 2 is positive 8, but that also doesn't add up to negative 6. It adds up to a positive 6. Negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8, but that would add up to a negative 9, so that one's out too. What happens when we do negative 4 and negative 2? Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8, and negative 4 minus 2 is a negative 6. So that's the one I want to go with. It didn't say to factor, it says to actually solve. So we have x minus 4 times x minus 2 is 0. If the product of those equals 0, then follows logic that the individual pieces must be equal to 0. Now I'm solving for x. I want to get x by itself. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. X equals 4. I want to get this x by itself. I subtract 2, so I'm going to add 2, because that gives me 0. X plus 0 is just x. 0 plus 2 is 2. And there's my answers. Option B. X is equal to 2 and 4.